Hello and welcome to another video. We're going to be continuing on with the blind 75 in TypeScript, and we're going to be doing container with most water. So we're given an integer array height of length n, and there are n vertical lines such that two endpoints of the ith line are I0 and I height. And you want to find the lines together with the x-axis that form a container such that container contains the most water, and we want to return the maximum amount of water a container can store. So essentially what we're saying is all of these are, like, this is represented as an array of heights. And so this is height 1, height 8, for this example, height 6, height 2, height 5, 4, 8, 3, and 7. And now we're asked to find like the biggest container. And so if you take a look, like this is this array here, these are these numbers. So if you notice that in this biggest container of height 8 and 7, water, the amount of water that can like go up is going to be equal to the minimum of the two heights and then times the width. So here, for example, the width is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the minimum height is 7. So we have 7 times 7. So essentially, that's one thing we can notice right away is that in the container, if one of the heights is way higher than the other, like if one is height 7 and one is height 30, it's going to follow the smallest height. And that makes sense, right? Because water would just flow out of anything over here. Okay, so essentially what we can do to solve this problem is we can just start with the two ends of the container, and then we can just look, we can record, so we're going to have a result, and we can just record the area at our given location, and then we can shrink our container. And how do we want to shrink it? We're obviously going to want to keep the side that's bigger and then move the other one. So essentially what's going to happen is we're going to start here. And this is length 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this would be area 1 because you take the smallest side. Sorry, it's actually going to be 8 times 1, right? So it's going to be 8. Okay, now we can move one of these forward. Obviously, we're going to want to move this one forward because we want to keep the bigger side, right? Because our answer is going to have to do with the smaller side. So here we have 7 times 7, which is 49. So we're going to replace this value. Now, which one do we want to move forward? We want to move this one forward because this one's bigger. So here we have 3. So we have 3 times 7, which is 21, which is smaller than our answer that's stored. So we're not going to want to like update our answer. Essentially, every time we get a new container, we can just update our answer with the biggest one. Okay, now which one do we want to move forward? We want to move this one forward. And now we have 8. And this is length 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 40. And now they're the same height. So in this scenario, it actually turns out it doesn't matter which one you move forward. It's going to be the same thing. So you can move either one of these forward. Let's just say we'll move the left one forward. And so here we have height 6, and our width is 4, which is 24, right? Which these are all smaller than 49. Okay, now we're going to move this one up again. So we have height 2, and our width is 3, so we have 6, smaller than 49. Essentially, they're all going to be smaller than 49, but that's how you do it. And then you have 5 times 2, which is 10. And then finally, you have 4 times 1, which is 4. And now, after your left and your right are, on the same value, or one of them passes, essentially when your left and your right hit, when they intersect, we have no more container, right? So that's when you're done. So we're essentially just starting at the left and the right, and we are recording the area, and we are just moving it depending on which wall is smaller. Okay, so let's do that. Let's actually code it up here. So here we have our Typescript compiler. I didn't make any changes from the last video, so let's do this. Okay, so we're going to want to make a left and a right. So let's do that first. So we can just say like left equals 0, and we want to make right equal to 0. Okay, and remember in TypeScript, since we set our values equal to something, they're going to be defined, so we can't do something like this in the future. So we don't have to set a number type here, we can just make something equal. And then all we have to do is just say while left is less than right, let's just do stuff. We also want to set a result, so let's just set our result equal to 0 as well. Okay, and now let's actually write our logic. So we could say, first of all, what would we want to do? So actually, our right shouldn't be 0. Our right should be the length of the array, right? So it should be like, I think it's going to be length, or height dot length minus 1. There we go. Okay, so now we could say that while left is less than right, we're just going to say result equals, we're going to try to maximize it, so math.max result. And then what's our area going to be? So our area is actually going to be math.min of number, actually it's not going to be number, it's going to be nums, right? Or something. Height number, yes, it's going to be height left, height right. That's going to be our shortest wall, right? Where we're taking whichever one is smaller, and that's going to be our height. And now our width is going to be right minus left plus 1. So we need to put this in parentheses. That's going to be our width. Okay. And then let's actually, yes, that's our result. And now what we need to do is we need to check which one we have to move. So we could say if left is less than right, or actually it's not left, it's actually the number, right? So height left is less than height right. So if the left is less than the right, that means we're going to want to move the left forward, so left plus plus. Otherwise, if the height is greater than, or sorry, if the height is less than or equal to the left, like I said, it doesn't matter which one you want to move forward. If the right is greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to left, then we'll move the right. And we're going to want to move the right backwards, right? So we keep doing this until they intersect. And then finally, we want to return the result. Okay, and so let's just try this out on some different things we can think of. So let's just say we have an array of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See what we get here. And we want to call max area on it. Okay. So let's do that, and let's actually turn on Cloaca so we could see. Okay, so we have 20 here. I guess it's going to be a little hard to test this. So 20 is, how did we get 20? Maybe like a 5 and a, or like a 6 and a 1, this kind of thing. No, it wouldn't be that, actually. Yeah, it definitely is kind of hard to test. Let's actually pull up our drawing again, and let's do that. So what do we have? So we have 186254,837. So let's try that. 186254,837, and we're expecting 49 here. And so we actually got 56. So I think our height, our width is incorrect. And if you think about it, if we have a left that's like 0 and our right is 2, the width is actually 2, but we did right minus left plus 1, so I think it's just right minus left. So there we go. So now we have a correct answer, and let's try it with something like 1, and this should be 0. Yeah, what about 1, 1? Yeah, okay. Now it looks good. And so it definitely is good to practice writing your own tests, especially for interviews, because for some interviews you're not going to be given test cases, and they're just going to say like write your own. And then sometimes you can test it, sometimes you can't. So most of the times you can't, like, or a lot of times you're not going to be able to run your code, but you might be able to. So, you can try either way. So you can try like writing a test case, going through your code, figuring out what it would be, and then trying it out. Okay, so now we have that. We should be able to just copy paste it into the leak code. So let's take a look. So we have an issue here. Okay, there we go. And let's see. Okay, accepted. And the nice thing about this is by writing your own tests and trying stuff out on your own, notice how we're almost always getting an accepted right away because we've tested our stuff before instead of testing it in leak code. So, but yeah, let's go through the time and space here. So for the time, we are basically doing like a shrinking sliding window type of situation. I guess it's not a sliding window, it's like a shrinking two-pointer. So that's going to be, I always forget we're not in Python. Okay, so that's going to be O of n, because essentially our left is going to meet our right at some point, and then we went through our whole array. So that's O of n. And for the space, it's going to be O of 1 because we didn't actually make any other variables, I believe. We just made a left-right result, so these are just constant time variables, or constant space variables. So that's going to be it for this problem. Hopefully you liked it, and if you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I'll once again include the link to the problem in the description and just the entire GitHub repo of all of these problems. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.